Hi, Bobbie! Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, and oracle card advisor. How are you today? So, I like to explain just real quick to the people that are here for the first time. I see, I hear, I feel, I know, I sense. I have most of the senses, which a lot of them don't. Sometimes I taste and smell. Um, Sometimes they'll show me pictures. Sometimes they talk to me, sometimes they show me pictures. It's just the way they can communicate. And then I call that spiritual charades, where I have to describe the picture, which I have to figure out what they're trying to show me with this picture well enough for you to understand. It's not for me to understand. I'm just the vessel giving you the message. So hopefully you'll understand. Names, I stink at names, and I gotta quit saying that. The more I say it, probably the worse I get. But so if I say a name, don't throw out the whole reading if the name's wrong, but think outside the box a little bit. Think a first letter or something. Hopefully you'll understand who they're talking about if that's brought up. That, I don't know. A little feedback afterwards would be awesome. A little validation. So I know I was on the right track and that you understood the reading, because that's the most important thing. So let's see what Bob. It's something about Bob. Like sing. Oh, what was that song way back in the day? Probably way before your time. Bob, banana, Bob, bee, bye, Bob. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. And he's not saying anything yet. He wants to rub his whiskers on the side of my face. So that will be one of your signs when he's near you. You'll feel something that feels like those whiskers, and it won't feel as strong or as bristly as in real life, but it will be a much lighter sensation, but the same thing. And usually when they do that, you also might feel a tingling or goosebumps, or because it's their energy. Or your ear might get real hot on that side. He's already been trying to do this, so think back. Think back of when you've had a sensation like that. He says you're keeping up with, you are his namesake. You are his namesake. That's why you're named Bobbie. Were you supposed to, did they think you were going to be a boy before you were born? So he says you're keeping up the reputation well. You're holding up your end of the reputation. He's showing smoking a cigarette in the right hand. If he didn't, he could be referring to you or somebody very close to him. I know that's a little vague. Let's see what we're going to do. Let's get tied down to something here. He's talking about yellow, mellow, yellow. And then I start hearing that song going through my head. They call me Mellow Yellow. He says, well, he feels like he was a pretty mellow guy most of the time. Didn't have his feathers ruffled a lot. I mean, not really ruffled, but there was something about you and a boy. Something about this boy, something this boy did to you, or said to you, or he didn't like him around you. He did something to you, where Dad blew a stack, where Dad he said he let the bear out. And, he said he still messes with this boy. He said he never felt like he got even with him for what he did. He says he gives him a little zap every so often. He's doing his hands like this, like being ornery, you know, like I'll teach him a lesson. He says, I didn't get to do to him what I wanted to do to him. So we're going to work on him now. Sorry, my bad habit. He's ringing. He's ringing big bells, church bells. See a church and it's like there's huge bells up in the tower ringing. Somebody just get married, or they're getting married. He will be there. He will be there, and he's showing like this big feather that just comes floating down, like out of nowhere. I think he's going to do this at the wedding. This will also be another one of your signs, though. So there's a double thing to it. And it's big white feathers. Big, well, that looks pretty big in there. Doesn't look that big from here. Like yesterday, it was just like out of the blue, this little teeny tiny, and I'm sitting in my dining room. There's no birds in my house. Little bitty teeny tiny feather. Teeny. Just came floating down here and floating across here, and it was gone. This is gonna go right in front of you, so you can't miss it. So you will start finding feathers everywhere. White feathers. He's also showing some with a black tip on it. On the very, very end of it. Okay, he's showing himself kicked back in a recliner with the thing up, with his legs crossed. There's a cigarette in his hand, so even if he didn't smoke, he can do it now. He's just comfy as hell. Let's see if we gotta pinpoint him down here to something. He's showing you writing something. And it looks like, I don't want to show any stuff that's on my page, but it looks like you're writing in a tablet like this. And you're writing, let's see where he's going with this. They never waste a message. They don't waste their energy. You've got your head bent down and you're just writing and writing and writing. And he reaches down and scruffs your hair. So, like I said, that won't feel like a hand on you either. It'll feel like my spiky hair. I don't know. I haven't looked at your face. I don't look at Facebook pages ahead of time. So I don't know what your hair looks like. But like if it lands on my fly lands on my spiky hair, I can feel it, but you just barely feel it. You just feel that wiggling. Sometimes it's tingling. Sometimes it feels like head lice. I don't like that feeling. You may actually feel your hair move. But there's something about the writing that you're doing. And he feels a little worried about whatever it is you're feeling as you're writing. He's showing himself at a barbecue grill, outside of course. Hang on a minute, he's kind of flipping around here with this. It's not him at the barbecue grill. It's like you and himself are watching somebody else barbecue grill, and the grill looks like it's red. It looks like a red kind of a kettle. And this other person has one of those chef's hats on, you know, that's kind of big and round and poofy, and an apron, and he's got dark hair. Unless this is a younger version of him, because this man doesn't have the beard or anything, but it looks more like we're sitting back as an observer. This man looks to be about the same age as your dad. I mean, he's not saying, I'm not getting it like a relationship with him or anything, so I don't know. I see the name Ted, T-E-D, but don't hold that exact name. It'll be a male with a T name, so think outside that box. I'm not getting a relationship, so maybe this is one of his friends that maybe you'll know. He's saying, he says uncle. I don't feel the uncle part, but he says uncle. He wants you to know that he's been in touch with this guy. Then he mentions cream, but he's spelling it C-R-E-M-E. Like Krispy Kreme, donuts, that kind of spelling. And he just said, I hated SpongeBob. Don't like SpongeBob. So you're going to smell cigarette smoke in your house. So when you smell that, that's a sign. Say, I love you, Dad. I realize this is a sign now. Bring me more. Once they know that you're acknowledging the signs that they're trying to leave you signs all the time. And we all just kind of, poo-poo them. That we don't. Once you start realizing it's actually a sign from a certain loved one, then they'll start bringing you all kinds of other ones. He says name. Name. Something about his name too. His name pops up on everything. Well, there's a lot of Bobs. Bob, Bob, Bob. And there's my Bob. He actually came in with my Bob. My Bob. Who's my guide now? And my Bob killed himself. But my Bob comes in and helps a lot with readings and stuff. I don't always do it by myself. Usually I've got some help over here. Now, little white kitten. Little white kitten. I think it might have a spot on it somewhere. But it's a baby. Just jumped up on his lap. I can't. Man, usually I can tell whether they're past or they're here. He said there's more. He has this kitten with him. He wants somebody to know that. Somebody that loved this little kitty. And he says there's more. So whoever has a cat or cats, watch the cat, because they can see spirit. And you'll see the cat like following a fly, you know. That's because he's messing with it. He says, Grandma's here. Grandma's here. And she leans over and she hugs him from behind. He's still sitting in the chair. They both say, cherish the ones that you have now while you're here. Don't wait till they're gone. Now he's showing me a canoe. It's a big canoe. He's kind of flipping around. He doesn't stay on one subject but a second. He just, so whatever they say, I have to throw out. Yeah, he went back to the canoe. It almost makes it look like a big canoe, not like a huge Viking ship type thing, but it almost looks like it has one of those things on the front of it, like the Viking ships used to have the big dragon head or something on the front of their ship, you know. But this is not that big. This is a canoe, but a big canoe with this thing on the front. So I hope that resonates with you. They know what needs to be said. He says he does have regrets for not spending enough time with you. He does. He says he knows that sometimes that you thought that he didn't care, or that maybe he was too selfish in what he was doing. And he says I was sometimes. He says, but you were always at the bottom of my heart. He doesn't mean that in a bad way. I know it didn't come out real well, but he said at the bottom. I don't know what he means by that. you weren't going anywhere. He didn't think he was going anywhere. He's showing playing Tiddlywinks. I don't think anybody plays that anymore. He holds up what looks like a handkerchief. Something about this handkerchief that's special. He mentions something or someone called Bobo. He tells me you either are or you were very angry and yelling at him. How could you leave me like this? What the hell is wrong with you? You left me like this. Not even a goodbye. That you're angry. He says, but I still love you. You were my lucky charm. I ask him not to show me things when you're too young to remember, but he's showing you very young. And he's standing up and he's holding his arm out and holding onto your fingers, and you're doing almost like a ballerina spin, you know, like dancing, but he's got a hold of your hand and you're doing a little spin. He said you used to put on Mom's high heels. No, Mom's, one of them, high heels when your feet were not even half the size of the shoe. So I hope that's something you can remember. And then you would wobble and fall down. You mentioned something about cross country. Oh, he comes over here and he puts his arm around me and he kind of leans on me. It's kind of like pushing on me. So let me see if I can describe this. Usually I tell people, like when somebody comes up and stands behind you and you don't know they're there, but you can feel them and feel it, and you turn around and oh, there's somebody there. You feel that. That's kind of what this is. It's almost like a pressure, and it's pushing on me. So when you get really still at some point in your mind's like, let's say, well, I don't know if it'd be like when you're watching TV, because, well, I'm sitting down, I guess I'm feeling it. And your mind kind of goes in a blank mode. Sometimes when you're staring at the TV or something, you might feel this, it's not, I don't know how to describe it, because I'm not even feeling the warmth or the tingling or anything. It's just like a pressure, and it's just kind of pushing. Okay, he's telling me that he's done something in your house to bang. And it may not be like a huge, loud bang. Because even when they show me, they'll show me that they're trying really hard, to make something bang. But it won't come across as hard as what they're showing me they're trying to do. They're just, quit stuttering. That's me. They're just showing me how hard that they're trying to make this happen. So I feel like it's cabinet doors, but not, more like in the bathroom it looks like. More like a cabinet shutting in the bathroom. He's trying to make it louder so you hear it. Christmas. He says Christmas, something about Christmas. He has not missed a Christmas with you since he left. Is there an ornament or something special on the tree for him? No. Well, maybe an ornament too, but there's something special that's put out at Christmas time for him. And he's acknowledging that. He's saying again, you're a chip off the old block, whether you know it or not. He spends a lot of time in your house because he keeps going back to your house, going back to your house. Have you, I think, I'm going to make sure I get this. Have you found like mud or dirt tracked into your house when you think there should not be mud or dirt tracked into your house? But you find pieces of dirt or chunks of mud, dry mud, or maybe even a smudge. It looks like somebody could have stepped in mud and then stepped in your house. Then he goes like this and he starts giggling. I don't think she's going to like that one. You can always ask him to stop. He's been trying to send you signs all this time. So let's say you do see that sign, that you have recognized it, and you don't like it, ask him to stop and send you something else. He's not going to stop until you tell him to, is what he said. He loves your heart. He loves your heart. He says you've let it get a little bit too hard. You've got to let the love in as well as give the love out. Okay, he's showing a tombstone. It's got one base on the side. At least this is the way he's showing it. Putting flowers in that. There's other flowers across the front, laying across the front. I can't tell how recent this is. He knows that you honor him as the dad, but he says it's okay to let another dad in. It's o- it's okay to let somebody else do the job that I can't do now. Yep. I don't know where he went. He got real quiet. Usually I can hold their energy for about 30 to 45 minutes. It says, please tell her I love her and that I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made her life harder. Now he's showing money. I'm sorry I didn't fork out enough money that she needed. I'm sorry I cared too much about myself. And I'm sorry there weren't more hugs and kisses. This one I'm not 100% sure of, but I think, so I think, I don't know if he's showing me a memory of dancing at your wedding, or he's sorry that he wasn't there to dance at your wedding. I can't, and I won't make anything up, and I won't make anything to try to fit. It is what it is. He says you were beautiful and you still are. Don't forget that I still love you. He wants to say that again. He's not mentioning asking if there's other people with him, but he's not mentioning any more than the two. Sound like he said tally ho. Okay, I have no idea why he's saying this. He stretches his arms out and he says something about say it again. Arms reaching across oceans. No clue. Arms reaching across oceans. He's waving goodbye like this. He says, you have and you will see him in your dreams, and he's giving you advice in your dreams. He says, take those as real. And with that, he's going to leave. He's got a balloon. I don't. As he's walking away, he's got a balloon. And sometimes they'll show me like facing me or away from me, designating whether the birthday is past or the birthday is coming. This one's halfway. This balloon's turned halfway towards me. I don't know what that means. I've never had him do that before. But he's acknowledging that. He's proud of you. He's very proud of you. And once again, he says, chip off the old block, whether you like it or not. And with that, he's leaving. Okay, so I hope some of this resonated with you. He seemed like a real sweetheart. So, let me know if you have any validations. I hope you understood what his message is. He loves you. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, and oracle card advisor. Much love to you. Don't forget to pay it forward.